If you learn to love the thing you hate, you might find a big gift in it. And for me, I didn't like sales. I hated it. I tried selling when I was 17 years old, lost the job. 18, I tried again part-time during the summer, lost the job. 19 years old, lost the job. I had had 5 experiences in sales and hated every one of them. All different industries. I just kept moving industries thinking, okay, it'll be different. This will be easy to sell. I hated sales. I hated talking to people. I particularly hated the beginning, the rapport building. You know, I'm not good at breaking ice. Like Ron Secco, he can talk to anybody. I can't do that. I can't go into a room. I can speak to 35,000 people, but I can't go into a room and start warming it up. It's just, I'm uncomfortable. So the point I'm trying to make is, when I was 25, the only job I could get was a sales job. And I said, hey, you got to decide that you're going to get good at this, even if you hate it. Yeah. Because you can't lose another job. It would have been my 6th firing. And I'm like, I cannot lose another job. I did, by the way, get fired from that place. But they never got rid of me because I kept selling stuff. Yeah. So every time they'd fire me, I'd go back and sell something. They'd be like, okay, you can stay another day until the next time you mess up something. So, you know, I went from hating sales to committing to it to becoming now known as like one of the greatest living salespeople on the planet. Yeah. So in the things you hate, like where does the hate come from? Like the things that you hate, the things that just grind you out, like just bug you, there's probably, if you just stay with it and look, just move to the side a little bit and look behind it, there might be some great.
Need motivation?
Watch a top 10 with Believe Nation.
Top 10, I got a top 10. Got my motivation high for my top 10. Gotta learn from the wise women and men. All my life, like 9 and 9. For my top 10, top 10, 9 and 9. This one's for my top 10.
Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and I make these videos because you are probably the most ambitious person in your circle, but you know you're capable of more. And you get that push by surrounding yourself with the best. So today, let's learn from one of the best, Grant Cardone, and my take on his top 10 rules for success. Enjoy. Rule number 2, reboot yourself.
What is the mindset you would share with anyone who's 40, 50, or 60 and above who hasn't accomplished what they want yet? What would you say to them based on what you've learned after 50?
You know, I used to tell myself I would never have anything to contribute to the world until I was 50. Because I'm very immature. I've always been described as a rough diamond, like rough around the edges, abrasive, not much of a filter, you know. I am. I mean, I know everything that people say negative about me. For every one thing the public has, I know every one of them. There's nothing anybody ever says about me that surprises me. I'm like, yeah, I know that. Like, you guys don't think I know that? I live with me every day. Like, I actually did not think I would have anything to contribute worthwhile until I was 50 years old. And that was about the time the economic collapse was, the Great Recession. And I was so lost in that financially. I didn't understand. I was actually being formed right there. I was being matured. I was being prepared for whatever's going on in my life right now. Really, the creation of Grant Cardone has happened in the last 10 or 12 years, not before that. The Grant Cardone people know today is being developed right now. And I would just tell people that are older, like, dude, you're going to have more energy later unless you don't. You're going to have more genius later unless you refuse to. You're going to have the ability to influence more unless you refuse to influence. And age has got nothing to do with the game. Like, nobody really knows my age. Like, I was 50 years old when I was in Pueblo. I told everybody I'm 50 years old. My name's Louis Curtis. I have 2 kids, beautiful 2 kids. I got a wife named Ava. Had made up names for the kids. I had to make up all that story. And we live in LA and I hate it. Because if I told people I was me in Miami, if anybody went and searched it and started doing, you know, images, like people do all that stuff today.
I know.
So I would just tell people, man, look, I look at people that are 80 years old, I'm like, dude, I got 20 years left. You know how much damage I could do in 20 years? I know guys that are in great shape. Dolly Parton, I mean, she's still hammering. She never did 9 to 5. She made some money on a song called 9 to 5. You know, but she's been doing 5 to 9 for years. So I just think people can get better if they want to, or they can get worse. You're either going to decay or you're going to reboot yourself over and over again.
Rule number 3, seek for possibilities.
I have a couple businesses this year will do $150 million. My real estate, we have $2.5 billion worth of real estate that we own that produces cash flow. Almost 10,000 units that $2,200 a month. Do the math on that. Things are very good at our place. And I'm like, why don't you become a real estate agent? Okay, average real estate agent makes what, $25,000 a year or something? $25,000 a year, okay, right? Something like that? It's sad. It's sad, and I want to talk to you about the finances right now, okay? Somebody said about not chasing squirrels. I think she was talking about chasing other opportunities, is that right? Okay, but also, you guys need to think about not chasing squirrels that don't get your opportunity here. Because they're squirrels. They're gathering nuts. Like, oh, I don't want to put signs up. I'm like, dude, move on. You need people, I need people in my life that are heavily financially motivated. I hear everybody talking about their wives and their kids and oh my God, life is to be lived. You cannot live on this planet without money, folks. Okay? Nowhere can you go and buy something, the yacht, the experience, the weekend. I would look for people today that are financially motivated, that want to make more money and that understand that financial illiteracy is what's hanging people up from their dreams. You got people, hey, what do you want to do? Well, I want my time off. What are you going to do with time off? You ain't got any money. The hell, man? You want to know the cause of depression? Too much time and too little money. Give me a job, give me a mission, give me something to do, give me possibility, give me a payoff.
Rule number 4, look for cash flow.
What do you look for when you're making a real estate investment? If it's anywhere in the world or in the US, what are the key things that you're looking for?
I look for cash flow first. Cash flow. Number 1, I look for cash flow because cash flow will allow me to keep a piece of property through the cycles. So number 1, I want to be paid for something. I do not speculate on real estate. I've never lost a penny investing in real estate. I've been doing this for 35 years. Number 1, I want cash flow. Number 2, I want a great location that's irreplaceable. I care less about the kitchens and the living rooms and the exterior, the paint, the roof. I care nothing about those. All those things can be changed. The location can never be changed. And the third thing I want to know when I buy a piece of real estate is, who can I sell this to?
Exactly.
Okay, so I should know who I'm exiting with. I should literally know who the next buyer will be before I purchase the property.
Also, to make sure you're actually taking action after watching this video, I've designed a special free worksheet just for this video. The worksheet will highlight all of the lessons learned in this video, as well as pull out our 3 favorite learnings and quotes that will inspire you to actually do something. The worksheet will also give you space to write down what your key takeaways are and your specific plan of action to make sure you're getting results. If you want the worksheet designed specifically for this video, absolutely for free, there's a link in the description below. Go click on it and start building the momentum in your life and your business. I'll see you there. Rule number 5, play big.
2008, 2009 was tough for you, just like it was for a lot of people. What was the lesson you learned then that prepared you for 2020? That you, when the recession hit, you said, okay, I know exactly what to do based on that pain in 2008.
Yeah, well, I was so disappointed with myself then. Like, I had not put my family in a position to flourish and prosper because of suppression. You know, the tide goes out, you don't have a boat, shame on you.
Right.
And I didn't have a boat, dude. I mean, I looked good. I looked good until it happened.
You had a suit, you had the car.
I thought I was good. I thought I was good, but I was too small. Small always gets hurt. And that was my big wake-up call in 2008. I didn't have enough assets. I didn't have enough money. My business was too small. My customer base was too small. I was too reliant on too few verticals. This was the creation of 10X. I blame no one in 2008, 9, and 10. I was like, okay, I'm in shit. I got myself in shit. This is not about the mortgage crisis. It's not about the builders. It's not about the strippers that got 17 loans. This is about me. I was in this pile of shit. I was in this fear. I let my family and myself down. Nothing was happening to me. And the most important thing is, I was not in a position to take advantage of it. That's the thing that pissed me off. Mm-hmm. And so I told Elaine, I said, the next time this happens, dude, we're gonna freaking rock. And then COVID had happened. And COVID, I was shooting a TV show and my company would have the best year it's ever had.
Wow.
I wasn't even here. We bought more assets this year than we bought the year before. We raised more money this year than the year before it. You know, when Lehman collapsed in 2008, I had $50 million worth of debt. I told Elaine, I said, the next time the shit hits the fan, I'm gonna have $1 billion worth of debt. I told her, I said, I'm gonna have $500 million worth of debt. We had a $1.2 billion worth of debt when COVID hit.
Rule number 6, change your game.
I made a launch out. I was in a middle-class family, raised by a single mother. We had a roof over our head, 3 meals a day. I had all the love I could do, but God, we had no money. And when you don't have money, you have fear. When you don't have the right vehicle, when you're in a vehicle, you're working real estate, and the most you can make is 3%, and they're gonna chop you. You know they're gonna chop you. You know the seller's gonna cut you up. 3%? You got me $2 million over asking, and you want 6%, and I gotta split it with my wife? Right? How many of you get chopped up? You're getting chopped up because you're not professional enough yet. When they're still asking for your fees, they are saying, hey, you are still not the player that deserves a full fee. So you got to change your game now, man, particularly with inventory problems that you have right now. You're going to continue to have this inventory problem, folks. This is not going away. Housing prices over the next decade will not go down. They will go up. They will continue to go up. You're looking in a rearview mirror thinking about what, oh, I should have bought everything. Because you should have, by the way. But you didn't. Because you didn't sell enough to have enough to buy enough. Right? And you were sitting in the market. You were sitting in the market. How many times have you said, this is a good deal? How many of you in the room have said that before? This is a good deal. Why don't you buy it? Oh, because you can't. Because you didn't. You say you didn't do enough to put yourself and your family in a situation where you could. And that's what happened to me in 2010. I had not done enough. I had 3 successful businesses. All 3 of them got cut off because of this mortgage thing.
Rule number 7, get rid of limiting beliefs.
It took me a long time to understand that I had limiting beliefs, especially when I was doing well. So when I started making $80,000 and $90,000 a year in sales, this is many, many years ago, that's like $270,000 today. In an industry, by the way, where the top producers were $40,000. The limiting beliefs that I had at that time, and then even when I was making $1 million a year, were the ones when I was making money. You know, when you're not making any money, it's clear you got a limiting belief. You know, you're making 30 grand a year and that's all you can make, no matter how good you are, no matter how much you smile, no matter how much service you provide, no matter how early you get there, how late you stay, and you still make 30, you know there's a limiting belief because everything would indicate you should be paid more. When you're making $1 million a year, you start thinking, I don't have any limiting beliefs. So the way to handle that is you need to study people that have created massive amounts. This is exactly what the 10X rule was about. Create massive amounts. In the Millionaire booklet, I talked about earning money, keeping money, and multiplying money. This is what the great salespeople don't do. I know great salespeople that have never figured out how to multiply money. I know salespeople that are so good, I'm like, dude, that guy is probably a better salesperson than me, but he's still broke. He's broke because he made his money, didn't know how to keep it, or he kept it, didn't know how to multiply it. How much you earn is a limiting belief. How you keep it, where you keep it is a limiting belief. If you have money in the bank or equity in your house, or you have a retirement account, you have a limiting belief about money. You're saving for a rainy day. You have equity in your home waiting to pay it off in 30 years. Completely ridiculous. No high performance person needs to worry about paying their house off. You should rent where you live, own stuff that other people pay you for. Okay, and just rent where you live and be mobile. And the third thing is, planning for having cash sit in an account just sitting dead in an account or in your wall or underneath your bed or in your safe or the vault, wherever it is. Oh, but what about an emergency? If your money's in the bank and the internet goes down, you won't be getting your money out. There's no getting the money. If you got it underneath your bed, what for? Like some of you are storing money in gold. Gold is a limiting money belief. You're like, oh my God, the world's gonna come to an end. Gold will not help you out of the end of the world scenarios. You should make a whole list of all the limiting beliefs that you have around money. Number one. Number two, you should most importantly make a list of limiting actions, not limiting beliefs, because your beliefs are turning into actions. How you save money, how you spend money, how you invest money. Diversification is also a limiting belief. Okay, now I know a lot of people recommend diversification, especially the people on Wall Street that benefit from you diversifying the most. They don't want you all eggs in one basket. But if you study the super wealthy, they took stakes. Once they got super rich, then they're like, okay, I own the railroads, the banks, and all the grocery stores.
Rule number 8, think big.
What was the first thing you ever sold when you were young Grant Cardone?
The first thing the young Grant Cardone, the first thing I ever sold was, I think it was clothes. Was it clothes? Yeah, I think I was in a clothing store and I earned 6% on a tie.
Okay.
And socks and t-shirts. And at that time, I think a tie cost like, I don't know, maybe 20 bucks. So I'd make like 12 cents or something.
Wow.
I was pumped up about it too. I was actually excited. I had minimum wage. Minimum wage back then was like $1.85. And I'd get a little, 70-cent commission.
Great.
Yeah.
What was your
It wasn't that great.
What was your first real estate investment?
My first real estate investment was a single family home. It was $78,000. I put $3,000 down. I thought it was a genius move. I used $3,000 to buy $78,000. I thought, okay, this is the best thing. I don't even see how this can be legal. And that today would probably here, because it's 20% down now, would probably cost me $15,000, but that's still a good deal.
Yeah.
$15,000, I could leverage a $80,000 piece of real estate. Obviously, you can't buy anything here for $80,000. More like $1 million.
Maybe out in the country.
Yeah,
but not in the city. You're looking at millions around.
Yeah, but if you could figure out if you could just make the transition. The biggest mistake I made in real estate was I didn't buy enough real estate. I should have bought more real estate. I should have bought it more aggressively. I should have paid more. I should have bought in better locations, because I was thinking too small. I was thinking about the $3,000 I had rather than how could I go raise the money.
Yeah.
So look, there's no shortage of money. There's a shortage of creativity and commitment, but there's no shortage of money. So, you got $1 million properties here. How can I go gather some family members and some friends, put 200 grand together and own a piece of real estate that we know is going to be worth more money in the future?
Rule number 9, use debt to invest.
Consumer debt is terrible debt. Suicide debt.
That's credit card debt.
Lamborghini, buying the Lamborghini on debt. Like if you're going to buy a Lamborghini, lease it for 24 months. If you can't afford the 24 months, you can't afford the Lambo. Debt for clothes, Christmas gifts. I mean, it's stupid. It's stupid to borrow money for this Santa Claus for your kids. I know people are going to hate that message. That's why so many people dislike, they just don't like the truth.
It's stupid to go in debt. If you want to do it and for fun or for whatever, then that's okay. But you're not investing in a potential greater future.
No. Now, if I borrow money for Santa Claus, that's one thing. If I borrow money to invest in a piece of real estate for my kids, I know which one's going to work.
Yeah.
If you just follow the tax write-offs, you'll know the right thing to do. I can't write off Santa. I can write off the real estate.
Right.
So, bad debt is anything that I have to then pay the interest rate on. Good debt is I made an investment and my consumer or my tenant is going to pay my debt.
That's powerful. So you're trying to get more debt.
You probably have more debt with me than you even know. Like because of the investments you've made with me, you have debt. You have good debt.
Uh-huh.
You just don't really know it. Your accountant does though, because we're sending them the K-1 at the end of the year. That's why when we send you a check, you don't pay income on that check.
That's nice.
Very nice. So you look at your return, but whatever I paid you last year, but that is non-taxable income to you.
Because of the debt that we have.
Because of the debt.
Everything else.
Yeah, exactly.
On the asset.
Exactly.
And rule number 10, the last one before some very special bonus clips, is get a source of income.
Michelangelo. Okay, Michelangelo. He didn't want to paint the Sistine Chapel, right? Dude, the Pope said, "Yeah, I understand you don't want to, bro. Start painting." Look what he did.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't know if that's, I'm just saying, like, I know artists that do what they love. They can't even feed themselves. They love their wife too, or they love their husband, but dude, you can't even take care of them. You love your parents, but you can't take care of them. So it's just not true. If you just love something, if you only do the things you love, there might not even be any money in it. Like, you could love horses, but you should have lived like maybe 1,400 years ago. So falconry, we had a falconry guy out here yesterday teaching us about the birds and the history of it. 2 hours he spent with us. It was freaking unbelievable.
It's a very niche thing, right?
Yeah, 1,400 years ago, everybody had a bird.
Yeah.
That was the Lamborghini of the day. Today, that's probably not, you could love it, but you're not going to feed your family with it.
Now I've got a special bonus clip that I think you're gonna enjoy, but before that, it's time for the good deed of the day. This is something new. I believe that you're built to serve, and it feels so good to do something nice for somebody else. So good deed of the day, put down in the comments one thing that you need help with, that you're working on, that you love some support or guidance on, and then 2, go comment on somebody else's comment and give them some love, give them some support, give them some encouragement, maybe give them some connections, try to help them solve that problem, even if it's saying, I believe in you. That one little bit of encouragement can be the difference between somebody quitting and continuing on. So the good deed of the day, in the comments below, write down one thing that you need help on, that you're struggling with, that you're working on, and then part 2 is go give love to somebody else in the comments too, and let them know that you believe in them as well.
You need massive, massive levels of activity going into 2021. Because the other brokers, remember, there's great brokers and there's everybody else. There's great agents and everybody else. You got to decide to be in this top 5%. And do not even look at anything the other 95% of the people do. I know this is a cruel, hard message, but they're not paying me. If they were paying me, I could give you a soft, loving message. Okay? I don't care if you guys like me or not. What I care about is whether you like you or not more at the end of this year than you did at the beginning of the year. Because that's the target, man. I got to love myself. I got to like me. Okay? I'm not trying to produce for the rest of the world. I'm trying to produce for me. I'm not even trying to produce for my kids and my wife. Yeah, they're beneficiaries. But look, if I can please me, if I could shock myself, okay, would I be able to take care of my wife and kids? My kids, man, they're lucky to be along for the ride. Little freeloaders.
I think that there's a shortage of real men on this planet. I think most men are, frankly, just pussies. I don't know if your audience can handle that word, but look, man, if you can't get your money right, something's wrong. If you can't take care of your family, you got to ask yourself, how much of a man are you? Like, for me, that identifies me as a man. My ability to take care of my family. I don't just mean financially, but I do mean financially, right? My job as head of household is to take care of the economics of the household. The word economy, if you look it up in the dictionary, it comes from managing a household. It had nothing to do with a business. It was about managing the household. So if you go back 1,000 years, we've been managing households. My job as a man is to provide a place where it's warm, a place where we can sleep, a place where we're protected, a place where there's food, right? Not money, right? I need to be able to take care of the family, shelter, food, clothing, and I need to have some fun. My family wants to have fun. We want to have experiences. So I need to provide a secure environment for them so they're not think bad things aren't just happening. And so men need to bone up, man. Like, the government can't take care of you. Bone up. Bone up. Get strong, right? Get strong, yeah. So get a backbone and take care of your family and quit blaming the government or
making excuses.
Your neighbor or the economy or whatever conditions. Look, I've had some terrible conditions in my life. From the age of 15 till 25, it was awful for me. 10 years, nobody would want to go through the 10 years that I went through. Do some people have it worse than I did? Probably, but
I don't want to do those 10. Those 10 years were terrible for me. As degrading as a human being can experience.
Drugs?
Yeah, drugs, but mostly just so many bad choices, so many bad people. You know, so much self deprivation and just a lack of self-esteem and self-love for myself because of a lot of bad choices. So I understand what goes on for a person when they're making bad choices, and people just need to man up, you know, bone up. The women need to do the same thing, by the way.
Yeah, women they're stronger than men today.
Oh, look, I hate pain. Any kind of pain. Women can handle 10 times the pain I can handle.
My job's to get 8 billion people to know me. If enough people know me, they'll buy from me. How many believe that? I'm not going to be a slave to one person or one vertical or one niche or one partnership. You guys have the whole world at your access. The whole world. And by the way, if you can't get South Korea to talk about you, you can't get South Indiana or Indianapolis to talk about you. There's people in Korea that are tied to Hawaii, that are tied to Colombia, that know somebody in Indiana. And it can just bang out like that. And I also believe that if I could get enough people to know me in one market, I think that there's something that actually happens. I think if you could push out enough frequency about your brand, yourself, your ideas to enough people that you hit some critical mass. I don't know if any of you agree with this, but I think there's a spiritual component to where if you can vibrate through enough, all of a sudden other people start thinking, I know that dude. I've said this for years. If I can get enough people, a very small percentage of the population to know me, I think the other 99% become convinced they know me.
Do you think that somebody needs to reach a certain status before building a person?
No, you do not need to reach a certain status. You need to assume the status now. You need to have the altitude right now to be the professional that says, hey, I know about fitness. Right. I know about plumbing. I know about trucks. Just take whatever you guys are certain about and post the out of it. And by the way, if you're not certain about it, write an article about what your uncertainty is costing you. You're going to figure out every possible angle. But none of that's going to happen until you guys make a decision to blow up. And none of the blow up is going to happen until you make a decision that money is important. Because if you got people around you saying money's not important, there ain't no way you're going to do this stuff. Because it hurts when nobody sees your stuff.
Number three, study 2 multi-millionaires. Do not, take heed to this, do not study a millionaire. Once a person becomes a millionaire, the first thing they do, unfortunately, is go into conservation to protect the million. Study multimillionaires. Study people that have consistently developed and proven because of 10s or 20s or 30s or hundreds of millions of dollars that they've accumulated, that they have the right practice, the right discipline, and they're still expanding. You don't need 22 mentors. Study 2 people deep that have gotten it right. Study 2 people so deep rather than 20 people shallow. I promise you it'll make a difference. If you get a chance to spend 3 days with anybody that's accumulated 30, 40, 50, $100 million, I'll promise you it's a game changer. So put that on your bucket list. I'm going to spend 3 days with a multimillionaire in an environment where I can learn from them. It will be a game changer for you. And also limit your study to 2 people, not 22 people. That will create you from having conflictive data and content and information.
Nobody's ever done it by themselves. Mm-hmm. So the entrepreneur that's popular right now is the guy that works from home. Mm-hmm. He's a solopreneur. I don't know if you have this term.
We have, yeah.
Yeah. It's a complete misnomer. Nobody has ever existed on this planet and done something successful by themselves. No, it's never happened. So there's 0 examples of anybody that's done anything. I mean, Jesus had 12.
Of course, yeah.
Had 12 guys he was rolling with, right? Alexander the Great had an army. Genghis Khan had a like, you're not doing this thing by yourself. Nobody does. Like, for too long, I ran by myself. And it took a lot of energy, you know. It took a lot of energy. It takes more energy running by yourself. Ryan Secco here, the captain, the pilot, and the real estate dude, he always says, dude, it's just more fun to run with a team. And he's right.
Yeah.
You know, Henry Ford, people said Henry Ford made the car out of his garage. I said, yeah, but the company didn't make, they didn't make.
To the.
Yeah. So Mark Zuckerberg said, you know, Facebook was made out of a dorm. Facebook was made when he moved to Silicon Valley and started a company.
Steve Jobs, Steve and the other dude, what was the dude? Yeah. They built Apple, supposedly built it out of their garage. Yeah, nobody knew about Apple until he moved the company and started and added employees. So nobody's doing anything great by themselves.
You guys that take days off, it's my day off. You ain't entitled to a day off. Why do you think you should have Wednesdays off or Thursdays or you can't work Saturdays or Sunday you can't work on a Sunday, okay? And you got people around you telling you not to work on Sunday. Oh, we have to have a little life balance. Dude, how can you have life balance when you're broke? How can you have life balance at a Holiday Inn when the people next door keep you up all night? That ain't life balance, that's not even a vacation, right? The whole trip, how many have been on the trip? You did the budget trip, included the free breakfast, you did it on miles, and you wish you didn't even go. How many have been on that trip before? Maybe you don't do the trip. Maybe you're not entitled to a trip this year. Maybe you're not ready to trip. That's what Elena and I did for 10 years, was sacrifice. Let's sacrifice today. We'll sacrifice this week. We'll sacrifice this month. We'll sacrifice this year. We'll sacrifice so one day maybe we don't have to compromise. Every week we talk about our finances. What do we do this week? How much do we make? Where are we going? What are we spending? Okay? The moment I say, hey, no more jackets, no more, stop it, she'll stop it. So that we can one day spend whatever we want. Okay, there should come a time where you guys should be able to spend whatever you want, but most people are spending what they can't afford now, only to find out later they can never have any real special
they don't understand
needs.
how to make their money multiply, and most people don't understand there is a sacrifice phase.
Yeah.
We went through the sacrifice phase where there was years of just cut off everything.
And we weren't saving for a rainy day, we were saving for the rainbow.
That's right.
Y'all need to save for the rainbow. You see,
we didn't go on a vacation for 13 years.
Yeah, I've been saving for this stuff. I wasn't saving for vacations. I was saving so I could bank into real estate so I could go to sleep at night. And even if I had a bad night of sleep and had to get up 3 or 4 times, I'm like, dang, I'm making money in my sleep. Even if I'm unhappy, I'm like, I'm making money in my sleep, man. Woo-hoo. See, that's the goal that you and your wife need to have. Let's make money when we go to Turks and Caicos, or when we go to St. Bart's, or when we go to Cali. Let's go waste some money later in our life. Maybe you say, hey, I'm gonna sacrifice today so I don't have to compromise in the future.
I'm 20 years old in contracting here in Michigan. My biggest question is, how do you gain credibility in business being young in an industry?
Yeah, so good question. I'm glad you said new to the industry, not because you're only 20 years old. You got to become the expert, buddy. I don't know how to tell you this any other way. You got to become the expert in the room. You got to know more than everybody else. You got to be, like people say, oh, if you're in a room and you're the smartest guy in the room, you're in the wrong room. You go in a room, dude, you need to be the smartest guy in the room. You need to be the guy in the room that sucks the oxygen out of the room. So Elon Musk walks in a room and everybody's like,
showing up to the office, but doing my best, just trying to build rapport and
don't try to build rapport, dude. You got to become an expert at your deal. Like if you're milking cows, you need to become the freaking guy that knows every freaking angle on a cow's titty. Okay, like
Michigan,
right?
Gosh,
okay, so dude, take like. You're 20 years old, bro. Spend the next 4 or 5 years becoming an expert in your field. Study it, breathe it, live in it. Don't drink the Kool-Aid. Do backstrokes in it. I don't do businesses that don't serve my life. So the real estate, it's just what I'm doing every day, right? It's the speaking. It just all fits for me. So I need a lot of action, but they all work. Like my hand, I move my pinky and all the other fingers move. So if I move this business, it touches these businesses. The businesses are all connected.
They're interconnected.
Well, they're a bit connected, right? Okay. So if I move one, we came here to do a speaking gig.
Okay, but
we stacked this interview. This is part of my business, right? Our online presence is dependent upon me being willing to do this in addition. We don't go any place for one thing. So the guy that tells you focus on one business Dude, why don't we have one finger? Why don't I just have one finger?
Great
right?
metaphor.
So, boom, notice I got 5 fingers and I got 2 hands. I had a girlfriend, but this was before I was married. She says, "You want your cake and you want to eat it too." And I said, "Yeah, why have a cake if you can't eat it?" Okay. So my mom used to tell me, "You need to focus on one thing at a time." I'm like, 5 fingers,
5 fingers,
2 hands. Okay. So I want my hands in a bunch of pies. I just want to be sure I want to eat that pie.
Okay.
I want to eat that meal, right? Because I think a lot of people have their hands. Sorry. I think a lot of people have their hands and stuff. They don't really want to eat the meal. Do you guys just rubberneck your whole life? You know, you ever been driving down the road, there's a wreck on the side, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, why is all the traffic stopped?" There's only one person with a flat tire on the side of the road, right? Everybody's stopping to see what the hell happened over there. You're rubbernecking your life and not getting where you want to go, okay? Because everything's a distraction. Some people call it schizophrenia, like my friend Kathleen, but it's not really schizophrenia, it's a lack of focus. Number 9, make hard decisions fast. People say, "Man, you're a hard man, you're a tough dude," okay? Look, you got to make hard decisions fast. When things get tough, they say the tough get going. Truth is, when things get tough, the successful make hard decisions quickly. That's why super successful people are often misunderstood. They're willing to make hard decisions that often don't make them look good and for which they're later judged. The truth is, for you to be financially successful, you will have to make very, very difficult decisions. When you do, make them fast. My mom used to say, "If you're walking through hell, son, pick it up. Go fast." I want you to walk away understanding that some of you have businesses that are just not good businesses. And if you have a business that's no good, you can't build the empire you want. Why do I need money? What don't I know about money? Why are people struggling with money? You should ask yourself these questions. Why are you coming up short on money? Is it what you know or what you don't know? How many of you know this saying, knowledge is? Okay. How many of you agree with that? How many of you agree knowledge is power? So look, if you don't have money and you have knowledge, maybe you have the wrong knowledge. I hated sales. Hated it. I was in 5 sales jobs. Was a disaster at all of them. Hated, absolutely hated it.
But you're the master of sales.
I am. I embrace the things I hate.
Why were you bad at it? Why did you hate it?
I didn't know. Well, I was bad at it because nobody teaches anybody how to be good at sales. You know, so I didn't know how to communicate to people. Didn't know how to shake a hand. Didn't know how to build rapport. I'm honest enough that I'm not going to lie to people. So the stuff I was being taught to do, I didn't like. You know, they ask a question, you ask them a question. Slimy, dude. You know, I have enough integrity and ethics that when you tell me, okay, we're not manipulating, but don't answer their question. I'm like, well, dude, that's just, that is manipulation. And that's why I think a lot of people don't like sales, because of what's been taught for 100 years.
So the blueprint's outdated. You got there and
it was not, it was always wrong.
Okay.
It was wrong, and it's why, I believe it's why salespeople have such a high turnover, why so few people want to be called salespeople. I mean, you go through Harrods down there, you can't find a salesperson in the whole joint.
You think salespeople are ostracized in America?
Oh, dude, it's terrible
here.
It's terrible here.
I mean, really?
We've had books where Sell or Be Sold, we had to change some of the language in the book for it to be in bookshelves here. So like the word pressure can't be in there, persistence can't be in there. Like there's things laws you guys actually have here that like.
Go to Europe, it gets one step worse. You know, because it's a whole, I'm ashamed of money and I don't want to talk, you know, we can talk about that too. But so the sales blueprint, you get in, they give it to you, it's not working for you, it doesn't make sense for you. And you're like, I gotta make my own.
Well, what happened was I was in a sales job. I got a college degree in accounting, and
because you thought it would teach you about money and it didn't.
Yeah, so I end up in this sales job. It's the only job I could get. And so I hate it, right? So I go to the treatment center. I come back out of the treatment center. I threw myself into it because it's the only thing I had. I still had so little self-esteem that there was no way I was going to go try to get another job.
Yeah.
Right? And I was terrified of using drugs again. So I'm like, I went back, the place where I was working, they took me back, and I threw myself into it. And it's interesting when you commit to something,
little gifts just start automatically showing up. It's a phenomenal thing. So I threw a guy walks up, he gives me it was a little cassette tape. He's like, hey, I heard this, I thought you might like it. I listened to it, I was like, oh my God, there's a way to sell stuff. I didn't know there was actually something you could do. I listened to it, I called the 800 number. I said, what else do you have? And the guy said, we got a program for $3,000. It's 25 years ago, so it's like 10 grand, right? So I said, I'll call you back. Called my mom, I said, I need to borrow 3 grand. First money I ever borrowed outside of college. She gave me the 3 grand, and it changed my career. I've been here 5 years. You guys don't know me. You know why? I didn't let you know me. If you don't know me, you won't flow me, right or wrong. So my job is to make sure I'm known. Today it's easier than it's ever been before. That's why I'm a guy that's using social media to get known. It takes courage to stand up here. It takes courage to get known. It takes courage to build a brand. It takes courage to build a YouTube channel and an Instagram and a Facebook. I'm 60 years old. I don't know anything about Instagram, except that I got 900,000 people that follow me every day like a religion. You ask them what church they go to. I go to the church of Grant Cardone. Okay, what's my name? My name is Grant Cardone. What's my name? My name, because you didn't know, this is for the people that didn't know. My name is Grant Cardone. Let me hear it. Okay, my first job, your first job is to make sure people know your damn name. Because if they don't know your name, I don't care what you sell. You're a nurse, you work at McDonald's, you're a bellman, I don't care what you do. You're parking cars. It don't matter if I don't know who you are. It doesn't matter how good you are, how clean you are, okay? It doesn't matter, your values don't matter. Nothing matters if I don't know you.
So you don't believe in this concept about balancing business and life?
I've never, all the people that talk about it don't have the very thing they're trying to get.
Probably, yeah. So you're constantly balancing something. You're under stress then, I think so.
Totally. So if you just, like what I do is I just push into everything, right? I push into everything as hard as I can. And again, the goal is life. It's not the business. It's my life, right? Business is part of my life. So having fun is part of my life. My spiritual part is part of my life. So I'm going to push everything into that thing that I'm working on. The 10X thing was about, I'm pushing, like if it's in the business, I'm going to push as hard as I can on that. And my kids are with me. My wife's with me. They're with me. So they're having the experience of this push. Then we turn around, we push over here. Oh, we want to help charities out. And we push 10X into that direction. Well, it just blows out the edges of the life, right? So that we get to have a bigger experience, as opposed to, okay, now I need to put this here and manage this part right now. Which means when I'm doing this, when I'm finding time just for my kids, I'm abandoning all these other things and my life gets smaller. All the commitment stuff, oh, you got to be committed. Oh, you got to be committed. I was talking to my trainer about this. You got to be committed. Yeah, but the truth is, there's only one thing you really have to do. Because the commitment's not going to come until you do this other thing. The thing that has got me through everything, got me to where I'm at today. The thing that changed everything was me just taking action. Just doing it. I mean, I know that's that old Nike saying, right? Just do it. Man, even if you don't feel like it, even if you're not committed, even if you're not getting any gains, even if you're not winning, I talk about this in the rules of success. Show up. Just take action. Make the call. Knock on the door. Send out the email. Bug people if you have to, until you get good and it doesn't sound like bugging anymore. It's just the professional knows how to bug people without bugging them. So look, just take action, even if you don't feel like it. Money is so simple, okay? Anybody got a $100 bill? Give me $100, sir. Give this man a big hand for having some money. Okay? I just had an idea. I said, I wonder, shit, I ain't got any money on me. I had an idea. Now I'm gonna teach you a lesson right now that'll make you rich if you freaking get it, okay? Number one, I want some money. Number two, I need to ask somebody if they got 100. Number three, I need to get the money. It's no more complicated than that. I didn't go manufacture something. I didn't build a business plan. I didn't create a product. I had an idea. The length of time between your idea and the money will determine whether or not you're successful. The length of time between the idea and the monetization, big word for get the money. The distance between the idea and the money will determine whether you take off or not.
So why do we make so many excuses? I think that we are like excuses making machines.
Yeah. Like if I miss a deal, we do a lot of real estate deals. So if I miss a deal, I'm always going to, what did I do wrong in that deal? First response for me is, what did I do wrong in that deal that they didn't pick me? What did I do wrong that I didn't get that deal? What did we do wrong that we didn't hit our number there? Like I'm never saying.
It's not blaming somebody.
Well, I don't have control when I blame. I want control. So even if they are to blame, right? I want control. I'm not going to assign you blame. If you hit my car, I'm gonna say, what did I do wrong? What did I do that allowed you to hit my car? I did something. So even in the most dumb, like I ended up in a lawsuit where a guy basically found something, sued me for it. I didn't do anything to this dude. My immediate response was, what did I do to create that frivolous situation? He was a criminal, total criminal, sued me for 60 million bucks. He just sued me because he thought he could get something from it. Yeah. But I did something. And the reason I want to assume that the cause, I want to be the cause point, is because if I assume that position, even though I didn't really do anything, then I can control what I did. I can't control what another person does, but I can spend time and energy controlling what I do. The company is only as great as the driver is. Number two, does the dude have a bunch of fuel? You know what fuel is? See this plane right here, this plane's no good. No matter how good this plane is, if there's no fuel, plane no good. Plane don't go anyplace without fuel. Neither does the company. I know guys that have great companies, but they're out of fuel. They're just not, they're not gonna use it. They're drivers, they were drivers, they used to drive, they got fuel in their tank, but three, they won't use it. They're not gonna press because somebody's on their neck right now saying, conserve your money. A lot of rich people, this happens to a lot of rich people. People get rich, they go from the middle to rich and never get wealthy. With the wealthy, it becomes impossible to get wealthy like the Rockefellers or the people that we're talking about, the DuPonts, the Morgans, the Vanderbilts, because the Cardones, because they get satisfied with with rich, and they never get wealthy. Wealthy is generational money. Grant died. I guarantee you my grandkids will be talking about me. That's a bad right there, dude. There's it. That dude, goddamn. Okay? And then number four, dude, you got to have a future. Like the future I'm interested in. And by the way, I'm going to go back to the New World Order, boys and girls. The Illuminati, the Masons, whoever they are. These people think about futures. You guys don't. They're thinking about generations. That's what the Japanese do. The Japanese, they think about future generations. They're not thinking about right now. How about the Muslims? They're thinking about lifetimes from now. How many heard this before? People buy from people they like. No. People buy from people they know. Okay, if you're taking notes. People buy from people they know, period. They don't buy the best product. They don't buy the cheapest product. People buy from people they know. Because if you don't know me, trust will not happen. That's why I rolled up on Damon and said, hey, how about I put you in the plane and I fly you to Vegas. Same dude's telling me I was stupid buying a plane. I said, dude, come on. What's wrong with you, man? You spent too much time on a street corner selling hats. That bird is what got me in front of you, DJ, little man. Oh, yeah, you're right, man. And then he says, no, I'd have gone with you anyway. You would not have got on JetBlue with me. Don't lie, man. I know you're the people's shark, but don't lie. What am I call you up? Hey, Damon, I bought a ticket for us on Southwest. You want to fly to Vegas with me and we can eat peanuts? He wouldn't have gone with me. How many agree he would not have gone with me? Come on, man. He might be the people's job, but he ain't stupid. He's like, hey, I ain't doing that. Right or wrong? He said to me, what's the fuel in that jet cost? I said, bro, you're thinking small, bro. He's like, what do you mean? What's it cost? What's the damn fuel in a jet cost? I said, I don't know. Why don't you know? I said, because the jet ain't no good without fuel. Well, I think the idea of knocking on doors, talking to people.
Yeah.
Like these are the skills that are not taught in the schools. This is why it goes back to your question about the school system failing. The required skills, I need a client. Like if you simplify, the thing that people like about what we do is we simplify the business process. I need to make a contact. How can I do that? Like how can I just simply, if I'm a cameraman and I want more work, how do I knock on a door or make a phone call, get in front of someone.
So hard.
Impress them. If I go to Harrods right here, I'll see how many people don't have that skill. I walk in, I don't even get a hello. I don't get hello. How you doing? Great to have you here. Appreciate you being here. It's so nice for you to drop by. Thanks for coming into Cartier. I mean, it's a $3 million ring over there. I went in there the other day. I can't even get anybody to show me anything. I'm like, how much is the ring? They kind of look at me, right? Can you show it to me? Do you mind showing it to me? He showed it to me, told me how much it was, and I leave. He didn't show me a second ring, a third ring, a fourth ring. So those are the skills that people need, right? How do I interact with people?
Communicate.
Yeah. The middle class adds and subtracts, and clearly the middle class never figured out how to do what the super wealthy do. Like it's almost like hundreds of millions of people in America stopped math at adding and subtracting and never got to the multiplication part. Because the super wealthy are multipliers. Oh, by the way, time, energy, and money. They multiply all of them. They're like, look, I got time. I want to make more time. How do I do that? You learned how to add. You learned how to subtract, but that's not what the Rothschilds did. That's not what the Rockefellers did. That's not what the DuPonts did. They multipliers. They're multipliers. This, by the way, 10X is a gateway drug to the Illuminati. I'm telling you right now, the 10X was basically a secret kind of passage for all of you that want the New World Order, for all of you interested in the invisible rich, for the Masons out there that you're like, I know there's 13 families. I know there's a deal with the Federal Reserve. I know there's world monarchs. Don't you know that 10X, the 10X rule, don't you guys know the 10X rule is actually the front door to this secret society, to the invisible rich?
How did you get into the training business?
I had a passion for helping people when I was a young salesperson. And I found that when I had struggles, when I had droughts, cold spells where I wasn't selling anything, if I would help somebody else, it always broke my drought. So for some reason, it was easier when I wasn't doing well to help somebody else, to help someone else. And it seemed to break I don't know why I worked like that, but maybe it's one of those golden rules about help people, The more you give, the more you get. And so it always broke this cold moment I had when I would reach out and help another person.
I was 28 years old, 3 years sober, no drugs in my body for 3 years. I'm selling cars, I'm moving Toyotas, and I'm getting good at it too. Like you come in and say, look, I got bad credit. And I'm not buying today. I'm like, oh, that's 2 cars. I'm gonna penalize you for saying that bull. Okay. You got bad credit? That's perfect. At least you got some credit. See, I ain't positive. I'm there to get something. So Captain Ryan says to me, he's like, you're the most positive person I know. I said, dude, I'm not positive at all. I'm 10X. I get results, okay? I want to get the deal done. I want to make my kids proud of me. My kids aren't going to remember whether I was positive or not. They're going to remember whether daddy delivered the goodies or not. You understand? When you go to Whole Foods and they say, hey, that'll be $427 for 3 bags. And you're like, I got a good attitude. They'd be like, you need to get some 10X. You need to get some 10X and some money to go with your freaking attitude.
All the greats on this planet were addicted to something. Jesus was addicted. He's like, hey man, I'm gonna do whatever it takes. Right or wrong? Okay? You gotta get addicted to something. Good. All addictions are not created equal. Okay? I'm addicted to my wife. I'm addicted to my kids. I'm addicted to my purpose. I'm addicted to helping out. I'm addicted to making a difference. I'm addicted to doing whatever it takes to show and be an example of the blessings that I have. One of the things that we do, a little trick we do at our company, is we always have something on our calendar to look forward to, okay? If you want to stay motivated, today's what, Sunday? I always have something out here, out here, out here, out here, and out here to look forward to. Little short runways that keep me excited, okay? I'm going to Turks and Caicos to shoot a real estate program when I leave here. Yesterday, I walked out of here, I'm freaking exhausted. I'm like, boy, I can't wait to get to Turks and Caicos. See, it re-energizes me. Right? Now, when I'm done with that, I need something else to look forward to here. I got a whole bunch of stuff that's gonna happen here at the end of the month that is gonna keep me jacked up when I'm at Turks and Caicos, because the truth is, Turks and Caicos could get a little boring for a guy like me. How many of you have trouble going on vacations? You have trouble unwinding, okay? You don't even wanna go. You're like, I can't even enjoy this. So I need little tricks. I have little tricks. Everybody should do this in their life, okay? You need things to look forward to.
The world you live in today, the CNBC and the CNN and the Netflix, be happy. Just be happy. Be satisfied with what you have. There's no push, man. There's nobody pushing you. How about this? You can do more. How many of you can do more? Oh my God, if that's all you got, how many of you can do more? Well, goddamn, if you know you can do more, if you know you can do more, then you have to do more. If you know you can help, if you know you can make a difference, if you don't, you're gonna have this freaking big hole inside of you. No amount of money can fill this thing up. So fill it up.
For 30 years since I left that treatment center, I've been doing one thing, studying business. I don't need to worry about my neighbor. I don't need to worry about Trump. I don't need to worry about Obama. I don't need to worry about the Democrats. I don't need to worry about anything until I worry about these 36 inches. Man, people are like, hey, do you believe in aliens? Dude, I'm having trouble with this. All I'm trying to do is expand it over to here. Once I do that, maybe I can expand a little bit, but I got to get those 6 feet under control. I don't criticize other people. I'm too busy criticizing me. While I work on my life, I hope other people hate on me and criticize me. I love it. It's fuel, man. I'm like, come on, bring it on.
The number one reason you will fail in this 10X thing, the number one reason businesses fail is the inability to sell products in quantities great enough and at margins high enough. That is the only reason you will fail. You take too long to go from the idea to selling enough products, volume at margins high enough. Do that, learn to do that, and you can make any dream a reality, okay? I want to help the world. This is not taught in schools. There's 8 billion people on this planet, and there's no shortage of information. How many of you heard this before? Knowledge is power. Then why are so many people suffering? Why are so many people suffering? No, they ain't stupid, man. We have more information available to us today than at any time in the history of the world. We got too much information at this point. You got too much information and not enough action.
25 years old, I'm selling automobiles, I'm broke, I'm in debt, $40,000 in debt, spiritually bankrupt, physically bankrupt, hate myself. Only thing I had was an opportunity. The car dealer that I worked for took me back. That was an opportunity. Don't dismiss the opportunity. You can't go any place without an opportunity. No matter how talented you are, no matter how gifted you are, no matter what God has done for you, without an opportunity, you will not move from your garage. Your life cannot improve without an opportunity. It's impossible.
You guys don't like sales because you ain't got any courage. That's why you want to be the vice president of something. That's why you guys want to call it something else, okay? Most of you in the room don't even have sales on your card. You sell real estate for Remax, okay, or Keller, and you don't even have sales on the card. You're in network marketing. You refused. We don't do sales here. What do you do then, okay? What do you do? I mean, I think the company's got a financial statement. You ever read a financial statement? What's the first line on a financial statement? Huh? What's that first line? It's the first line, by the way, okay? I've seen a bunch of income statements in my life. The first ones are like 2 to maybe max 4 inches long. Big companies, big giant companies, okay? I got 5 companies, they run to one financial statement, and the top line, the sales line, you could call it, I think it's called also what, revenue? Could be called gross revenue, okay? You know people are getting confused now. Okay, they start getting away from this word. Some college guy came in and said, we can't call it sales, man. We got to call it something like at least 2 or 3 words. I mean, I went to Harvard. It's not about how much money you make, folks. Can you use money? Can you use it, okay? Look, these top lines right here are about income. If you hate sales, you hate income.
I don't care who you are. I don't care what your age is, okay? I spent from the age of 25 years old to 45 years old, I spent 20 years thinking small, and taking too long. I built 3 little businesses. They were all doing good, man. They were doing good, 3 of them, man, from scratch. First little business, I was a millionaire when I was 33 years old. Punching, shoving, hard work, man. The more money I had, the more scared I was. Because I had just enough money to be scared. As soon as you get $1 million, you're going to go into terror. I'm telling you, you're going to be like, what am I going to do now? Okay, I wasn't scared before. Now I got something to lose. That's why you never want to get your advice from a millionaire. If you're taking notes, never get your advice from a millionaire, ever. Okay, this held me down for 20 years. 20 years it held me down. You're looking at me like, huh? I read The Millionaire Next Door. What did the millionaire next door say? Buy a used truck and don't go to Starbucks. You save $4 a day for the next 38 years, you're going to be in heaven. No, you ain't. You're going to be stupid. It's dumb, man, okay? If $4 is going to break you on any given day, you're just back to thinking the way you were thinking when you didn't have anything. Buy everything on sale, okay? Everything you're going to buy is going to be on sale. You got to get a deal every time you buy something. Is that what your daddy taught you? Never pay retail for anything. That means nobody will ever pay you retail, folks. When I was 23 years old, I was beaten within inches of my life. I had 76 stitches put in my head and face because I had made 9 years of bad choices. My dad died when I was 10 years old. I think that there's an epidemic in this country where families are missing a father. I know for me, I was a good kid. I grew up in a middle-class family. My mom and my dad were very responsible, hardworking people. I didn't get beat up. There was no alcoholism. There was no drug addiction. I did not get brought up the way Kanye West did. Kanye's got excuses. I didn't have any. And there's a whole bunch of kids in America that don't have any excuses, but they don't have a purpose, they don't have an opportunity, and they don't have anything to do. And that was me. When my dad died, I was 10 years old, and from 10 to 16, when I should have been experiencing grief, you know, and I was angry about it. How many of you had a loss before and you got angry about it? Customer doesn't buy from you, guy doesn't show up, you get angry. Angry is not a response to the situation. And then when somebody sits on anger for long enough, what happens is without a purpose, an individual is going to go array. No matter how good they are, they're going to go off and do other things. And so by the time I was 16 years old, I had a drug problem, but by the time I was 20 years old, I was using drugs every single day. And by the time I was 23, I was carrying a gun every day, worried I was going to get killed every day, had a college degree, 17 years I spent in school. The more college I got, the less money I had, and the more trouble I ended up in. Okay, 23 years old, I get beat, I'm in a hospital. My mom comes to the hospital, she looks at me and says, "But where's my son?" Okay, that was me not too long ago. It doesn't seem like it was that long ago. And today, Legal Shield has me to speak to you today. Okay, and I tell you that to tell you, like, anybody can come back. I don't care how old you are, how young you are, what color you are, what your problems are. Anybody can come back.
If you want another amazing Grant Cardone video, check it out right there next to me. I think you'll love it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
Everybody can do more, you know? Yeah. And you don't know what you can do until you see other people doing big stuff. And that's why today, like, we started this talking about, in the past, I'd look up to people, want to pull them down. Now I'm like,